What's up? It's your boy Malibu. Now this is one of the biggest risks that I've ever taken in my life.
The rise, very fast rise, and downfall, perhaps the fastest rise and fall in the history of the fitness industry. Why would you take IUD survivor out of your profile?
He's in Korea when this happened. He is not in Afghanistan. He is not on a deployment, and he just got wasted and fell down. That's the IED.
Coach Greg, in today's video, the rise and fall of Malibu Fit. And so Lee Markham has amassed over 1.2 million followers on Instagram in about a month. The reason for his popularity is because many people loved his personality, his attitude, and when people started making fun of his appearance, all the people that loved him, that liked his videos, they fought back. Video after video after video, people coming to his defense saying, how dare we pick on a man like this, bully a man who essentially went to war and took a IUD in the face. How could we be so horrible? And so with that, and the fact that he continued to thrive, making videos, sharing to the world his positive attitude, basically his positive vibes, his popularity, it went through the roof. This all led to his partnership, likely a lucrative one, with ProSupps.
I officially signed with ProSupps. I'm part of the family. You guys are part of the journey, and I can't wait for the future, what it has for all of us.
And so many people looked into this behind the scenes saying, how is it possible that this IUD would have exploded and that it wouldn't have really had that much damage? The plastic surgery, it didn't max out. Where are the scars? Why exactly does he look like this?
This is his GD214. It shows that he was deployed to Afghanistan 2009, July 31st to 2010, July.
Shame on anyone who might have thought maybe this is just lip filler, that it's Botox or implants of some sort. Why would he do that? If it was a woman, many people would have said, oh, that's probably what he did, but perhaps because he's a man, people didn't want to believe that it could have been plastic surgery. And not to heal the wounds, the scars from this explosive device, but simply because that is what he wanted to do.
Guys, this is a very serious video with questions that I have for this guy, Malibu Fit Maxx. If you don't know who Malibu Fit Maxx is, he's very recently, like in the last month, just popped into the fitness stratosphere. Millions of followers, millions of views on all his videos. And a question was posed to me about 2 weeks ago where they sent me his profile and they said, hey, this guy, Malibu Fit Maxx, used to have IED survivor in his bio. He very recently removed it. Do you know why, John?
Why would you take IUD survivor out of your profile? It was once in his profile and now it's not. Why wouldn't you want to keep that? Imagine this analogy. It would say lifetime natural and suddenly that would be deleted. What do you think might have happened? Do you think perhaps they started taking performance-enhancing drugs? As soon as many people had noticed this, they immediately thought, I bet it's all a lie. It's based on a lie. And so you sit back and you wait to see everything unfold.
In October of 2010, here's him at a speaking engagement that his father posted on his father's YouTube channel.
In case you were curious, what did bro look like back before this accident? Did he look any different? And so he's literally at a speaking engagement where he's doing a speech, he's talking about himself, he's talking about other things. And you can see he's got shorter hair, but he does look pretty much like himself. Perhaps just a few surgeries less, perhaps some less Botox, the fillers, and so on.
We know this is him because one, well, it looks just like him. And two, he commented 15 years ago, first, from the username Malibu Markham. Lee Markham is his real name. I want you to listen to some of the content that he said during this lecture.
30's not that old. I'm still a student. I actually graduated this semester from University of Maryland.
This is, in fact, him. The same year that he would have survived that IUD in the face.
In his decorations, medals, and badges, right up here, it does not mention a Purple Heart. He has a lot of general awards and medals here, but he does not have a Purple Heart, which is something that you would expect to see there if he were wounded in combat and took an IED to the face.
How do you survive an explosion and look this good in the same year.
So in 2010, he competed in a bodybuilding show in July, did a speaking arrangement in October, graduated from the University of Maryland, and at some other point in 2010 survived an IED to the face. Wow, in Afghanistan.
And last I checked, and seeing as I am in fact a bodybuilder, a professional one at that, it's hard to diet down for a show when you're in pain and your face is like undergoing surgeries of which you cannot even work out. And so how could he have gotten shredded, competed, placed third without training? Why would you enter a competition after getting home from fighting wars and so on when you're injured? Seriously. Remember, this is a serious accident, an explosion to the face.
Now, he does mention his service during this clip. Let me show you.
After my 5-year obligation in the U.S. Army, in Afghanistan, it was quite literal. I was surrounded by evil. There's death, rape, famine, murder, just destruction everywhere. And I thought, I need to get out of this. I can die right here. And when I
Now, in this 15-minute lecture, he does mention his service. He does not mention an IED or anything to that effect.
And so if you were a survivor of something this severe, would you not have brought that up in your speech? I mean, think of it. You've just had surgery. You just survived the devastation, the horrific accidents, all the things he said that are bad at wars and so on. How could you not speak to that? Like, hey, guys, I survived this. I was so scared. I don't want anyone else to have to go through I went, and so I had to get out of this situation. He could have said anything, but to just not even talk about it, how is that even possible?
This is filmed in 2010 October, which should be the year that he has said himself that he took an IED to the face on his deployment. Now, I'm just presenting facts, guys. Another fact that we talked about in the beginning of this video. He said he's from the 293rd MPCO. If you Google any of these, I can Google the 293rd MPCO, you will see a registry of any injuries that happened.
All the injuries that happened in his platoon, fleet, I don't know the names of these things, all of them are listed. The 4 main accidents, injuries, 1 even is no longer with us, and so it's all listed. And so if you had received this explosion, how would you have covered it up?
He was overseas, but it doesn't mention an injury. It doesn't mention an IED.
The IUD, it goes off and you suffer injuries. And how do you get back home without anyone reporting this serious accident?
Now, this document was sent to me showing Lee Markham, same birthday, with active duty start and end date September 2005 to September 2010. So I think this document can go as far to say that he was in the service from those 5 years. And when he was on stage back during that 2010 October interview or speech or whatever he was doing, what he was saying was true. He had just returned back from a 5-year, or he had just finished a 5-year career in the military.
What we do know that's been substantiated with evidence is that he actually did do the 5-year stint. So he did, in fact, go to war in Afghanistan. However, he didn't receive an IUD in the face.
Now, I have Lee's number, and I had recently spoken to him and helped him with the situation he was having with his photographer. So I decided I would just text him, because if I were him, and I've noticed a lot of accounts are starting to post about him and question whether or not what he said was true.
And so picture this. Goop, who's helped Lee Markham, helped him with his photographer issues, problems, and so on. And so they're on good terms. They're on friendly terms. He asked him some questions.
And I texted, and if I had the truth, I would be happy to speak to me and say, hey, John, here's all the information, and I would scream it from the top of my lungs. I'm going to show you the text messages between me and Lee that occurred earlier today. I had tried calling him. He said, still eating, what's up? I said, hey, I had someone send me a question about your service. Told them I asked you directly, what's the story on that? When exactly were you wounded and on what deployment? I told them I'd get answers and send it back. I wasn't aware that was something that you went through, but they said that it used to be in your bio. He replied, we are filming a documentary to be released next month. All this stress from stuff is making it worse now. Back on the meds just to sleep.
Do you get a sense of trying to hide something? He asks him a direct question, and he avoids answering. Essentially, he says, I have a Netflix documentary coming out, whatever, and everything will be told at that point.
What happened? Like, you could explain it in a text message, and I gave that opportunity to, so, like, I have to address you here. I would have rather you just texted me, but, here we are. So what is the truth? Hopefully we're wrong.
And so if any of this actually were true, if he had actually had that IUD go off in his face, he would have just said, yep, it happened. He didn't have to go in every single detail. Perhaps there's this documentary of sorts. He doesn't want to go through every single event, but somebody's asking you, somebody who's helped you, and so you simply want to know the truth. But as you can see, he's avoiding answering the question.
Here's the medical record from the incident that Lee Markham is characterized as an IED to the face. A friend reports that patient was drinking and fell near Camp Cournier, his barracks. He did lose consciousness after falling. Name at the bottom, Lee Peter Markham.
The reason he's popular is because he lied. If he had not had ex-survivor of IUD to the face, do you really think so many people would have made viral videos saying we need to stop making fun of his appearance? Bro went to war. And so that is why people are so mad.
When Malibu Fit Maxx says that he sustained an IED blast to the face, what he meant to say was he got really drunk while stationed in Korea in 2006 and fell down before his deployment ever happened and f***ed his face up.
You can't identify as having survived something to the face. You can't just say, I survived this. You don't just get to identify as being disfigured from an explosion if it didn't happen. If you say it did, you lied. My bet is he kept getting made fun of, so he made up a story, and now that he's blowing up, pun intended, he removed it from his bio to evade controversy. And so let's see a different perspective here, and we'll just see what kind of person are you. The type of person who cares about the truth, or are you a pussy? Dude is wrong if he lied, but I think going this far to investigate something that's not on his bio anymore qualifies as hating to some degree. Maybe not certified hating, but still. When you have a channel, and that is what the channel is supposed to do, that's what you do, you uncover truths, lies, and so on, how is it somehow bad to investigate? Somehow that makes you a bad person. How do you think you get most stories on the news, reports, you see breaking stories, you think it just falls into their lap? You investigate. Without the investigation, you would just have people saying, yeah, I think, maybe, I don't know, bullshit. Do you not prefer that he actually investigates?
He's in Korea when this happened. He is not in Afghanistan. He is not on a deployment, and he just got wasted and fell down. That's the IED.
Here's another, and this kind of summarizes what happens in the real world. Nobody gives a shit if you made it. Once you're on top, no one cares how you got there. Now, on the way up, they'll say, oh, you have to have integrity, you should be honest. But if you make it to the top through lying, sneaking your way, doing anything, people don't care. Of course, we finally have one positive dude in the fitness industry, and you won't leave the guy alone, and now he'll probably get even more hate on his page. Goop's response? Yes, I call out frauds. How do you guys not understand this? I just don't. Yes, I do. Because there's a lot of people that's average is 79. I keep forgetting that not the average person is moderately intelligent. Like, why do I think that people are not stupid? Of course they are. Stolen valor, oof. Always wondered how his face looked as it did. I've never seen anyone who took a big B to the face have zero scars, stitch marks, or anything bad at all. Just looks like Botox, and now this kind of confirms it. Damn, that's sad. There you have it. The rise, very fast rise, and downfall, perhaps the fastest rise and fall in the history of the fitness industry. In fact, not probably, absolutely unequivocally. And so this is what I'm gonna predict. People aren't gonna care. Because once you're famous, once you've made it, what you did to get there, people aren't gonna care. Once you've made it, people don't care. And so regardless of what happens to all of this, I believe he simply won't address it. He won't talk about it. He'll go about his day. He'll continue to explode. I'll predict he has 3 million followers by next year. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch to one of these two bloops. Just eating one of my Kaiko bars here for breakfast. And if you want to go to Algorex, you can click the link. You can get testosterone and clomiphene, Viagra, the list goes on. Peptides, things like that as well. Also, of course, the cookbook, HLT supplements, the Turk, all of it. Code Greg for discount. And if you are in fact unemployed, use code UNEMPLOYED for 20% off. And until next time, I am out.